Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Tom Johnson begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, less than 24 hours before Tasmania's AFL team bid is tipped to go before club bosses, the state government has unveiled its Hobart Stadium plans. Macquarie Point will be the site, with promises of an experience like no other for fans. The plan's receiving a mixed reaction, with some calling for the money to be spent elsewhere.
After weeks of discussion around the selection table, a decision has been made.
We've made the call. Macquarie Point's the spot. This is where we can build aspiration.
The site of numerous proposals, now the centrepiece of our AFL bid. Despite Regatta Point being recommended by consultants, the Premier says Macquarie Point will kick goals.
It's a site almost ready to go. Of course, Regatta Point would be very costly in terms of remediation, but also proximity to the CBD.
The state government committing $375 million, but will also need Commonwealth and private investment. Seating up to 25,000 people and featuring a roof, PricewaterhouseCoopers estimates a $300 million economic boost, also creating more than 4,000 jobs in construction. The Premier confirming the Arts, Reconciliation Park and the Antarctic Precinct will be included in the plans. However, the planned escarpment housing project is up in the air.
We're working through all aspects of design when it comes to Macquarie Point and working with all developers.
Not everyone, however, is cheering. Labor and the Greens crying foul over the potential $750 million cost, both arguing Utah's stadium and Blundstone Arena are adequate, with the money needed elsewhere.
We're in the midst of a health, housing and cost of living crisis, and this government needs to do more to get the basics right for Tasmanians.
We've got the AFL telling Tasmanians they've got to choose between having decent health services, housing or an AFL and AFLW team.
A rival sport going into bat for the idea. Cricket Tasmania says these new plans can end our isolation from big-time matches.
It'll give us a cutting-edge fan experience, which we must have if we're serious about having professional sport in this state.
Tourism and hospitality businesses say we have to follow the nationwide trend.
If we can fill the joint with fans, that's the first thing the first big box we've got to tick. So I think it's going to be a great stadium for Tasmania.
Now we're going to have, I think, one of the best premier boutique sporting venues potentially in the world. All we need now is the team.
And John Hunt joins us now. John, we're expecting our bid to go under the spotlight tomorrow.
Yes, Tom, AFL club presidents are scheduled to meet, with Tasmania likely to be on the agenda. It's believed the bid will be delivered to the clubs for them to scrutinise. They'll likely take a fortnight to consider the plans before a final decision is made. While only 2/3 of clubs are needed, AFL CEO Gillon McLachlan is seeking unanimous backing. The Premier today remaining coy on how much support they've offered, but did say he's made one final pitch.
I've all written to the President personally just a few days ago, outlining the benefits of our offer to the AFL.
So, Tom, after years of work and negotiation, Tasmania is getting ever closer to finding out if we'll have a spot in the national competition.
Yeah, and about time too. Thanks very much for that, John. Well, the wait list for our state specialist healthcare continues to balloon, with thousands of Tasmanians requiring urgent care. A Wynyard grandmother deals with spinal pain daily and has been told she'll have to suffer in silence for at least the next 3 years.
Irene Zielinski has lived with insufferable pain every single day for the past decade.
I'm getting a lot of back pain, and it's like, it feels like you're plugged into a socket. And it's really sharp, vicious, like electricity, and it's going down both legs.
Already waiting 2 years to see a spinal specialist, Shadow Health Minister Anita Dow heard Irene's story and began rallying behind her, writing a letter to the Premier, which saw Irene's case reassessed, bumping her up to Category 1 on the state's wait list.
For a Category 1 only, to see a neurosurgeon at the moment is between 800 and 900 days waiting. Then if you get in to see the neurosurgeon, you've got about another 3-year wait if they need to do surgery.
These waiting times are unacceptable and people are becoming more unwell having to wait for such extended periods of time. And that, of course, puts additional pressure on the health system.
Now playing the waiting game, the grandmother is scared for her quality of life and mental well-being.
I won't make 6 years. I honestly won't. And it makes you so emotional. I'm getting all teary now.
It's devastating for people. We should be doing everything that we can to ensure people can get access to services when and where they need them.
There are currently more than 55,000 Tasmanians like Irene waiting to see a specialist, but the government says it's working to bring down those numbers through key investments.
In fact, in the last 12 months to June, we've performed more elective surgeries than ever before. And so that is working, and it's working because not only are we putting more funding in, but we're also listening to clinicians and health professionals on the ground.
With patients hoping there is some relief in sight. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
Rev-heads have torn into southern Tasmania for the third and final day of the Baskerville Historics. Some of the state's legendary racers returning to the track with their vintage engines.
Putting pedal to the metal. The Baskerville Historics have been a chance for motorheads like Garth Wigston to bring their old but gold cars back to life.
My wife used to take the kids to school in it, that's how good it was. She'd get to the school and all the kids at school would say, "Come on, Mrs. Wigston, give it a rev."
This year's field breaking records with around 240 vehicles, some dating back to the 1920s.
Once you get out there and the flag drops and everyone gets going and you usually get through the first corner, and no incidents or anything, everyone, gets on with, and you're then trying to get past the guy ahead of you.
I don't really mind where I finish up, but it's just so much fun being out there and driving it.
The banked up traffic on Baskerville Hill, an indicator of the event's popularity.
I've raced on the mainland a bit too, and some circuits are good, but a lot, they just don't have the atmosphere here.
Tasmania's next generation of racers speeding onto the grid for a glimpse of the action.
My favourite one is that 195.
Oh wow!
The 59. I have lots of toy cars at home.
Some just there for the thrill.
I like crashes.
The Derwent Scottish Pipe Band also marching onto the track. Silencing the roaring crowd as they paid tribute to the Queen. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
John X's production of Disney Newsies Junior will be unveiled at Hobart's Theatre Royal next month. The musical is inspired by New York's newsboys' strike during 1899 and is giving young performers from ages 8 to 17 a taste of the professional stage.
For people that want to go into the industry, this is giving the kids a really good chance to understand that it's intensive, it's fast-paced, and you've actually got to do a lot of work on your own.
It's hoped the production will pave the way for more junior roles in future John X musicals. Devonport's Bain and Lowe snuck through a critical goal for Norwood in the SANFL Grand Final.
Bain and Lowe, known goal kicker, scuttles it along the ground and the Redlegs get their second.
The kick just before quarter time kept Norwood in it, and it helped Norwood winning against North Adelaide by just 1 point. The Redlegs also boasted Tasmanians in coach Jade Rawlings and defender Tom Donnelly. There'll be a few sore arms in Hobart tonight after the city hosted the National Kettlebell Championships over the weekend. The sport a test of physical and mental endurance, combining techniques seen in weightlifting and aerobic sports. Competitors are expected to complete lifts for up to an hour at a time and face heavy penalties if they drop the bell.
The instant you put it down, you get a score of 0. So it's quite a high pressure sport today.
Tasmania was well represented with 12 locals amongst the 50 lifters taking part.
Good evening everyone. A cloudy day today with Hobart, Launceston and Burnie all 15 degrees and 14 in Devonport. 17 the state's top today in St Helens, Friendly Beaches and Wynyard 15, 14 on the islands and in Low Head and Strawn and 8 in Laoini. Bounds of low-level cloud can be seen over most of the state today, thicker in the west with mid to high-level cloud over parts of the southeast. Across Australia, low-level cloudies over Victoria and the southwest of Western Australia, while thunderstorms are seen over inland northern Queensland and eastern Victoria. Tomorrow, a weak high is situated over northwestern Victoria and is extending a ridge over most of the eastern and central Australia. A low and associated trough are over southeastern parts of WA. West to southwesterly winds tomorrow 15 to 25 knots, reaching 30 knots about the northwest early. And there is a strong wind warning from Sandy Cape to St Helens Point and from Wineglass Bay to Southeast Cape. A minor flood warning for the Macquarie, North Esk and South Esk rivers and an initial minor flood warning for the Meander River. Partly cloudy and 15 in Hobart tomorrow, Dover and Ouse both 14. 17 in Launceston, 16 and partly cloudy in Devonport, Scottsdale 15. Burnie and Stanley both 14 tomorrow, easing showers and 13 in Strawn, and 16 in St Helens and Swansea and Ross reaching 15. Looking on to Tuesday, fine apart from light showers about the west. Fine on Wednesday, Launceston and Hobart both 21 degrees, and showers about the north on Thursday. 17 in Perth tomorrow, early showers in Melbourne, sunny in Sydney and Brisbane, and 35 in Darwin and Alice Springs. And currently Hobart and Launceston both 10 degrees and mostly cloudy, and 11 in Devonport also mostly cloudy. And that's all in Sunday night's weather, Tom.
Thank you as always for that, Chelsea, and that's all from the news team here tonight.